it's not uncommon for entrepreneurs to say read Atlas Shrugged or read The Fountainhead and really like Ayn Rand's fiction, but you identify as an objectivist. So I wanted to know, what have you found incredibly valuable about the philosophy of objectivism, how it relates to, either your personal life or to your work?
Yeah. So my grandmother actually sent me Atlas Shrugged when I was in 7th grade. She said it would be the best book I'd ever read. And I tried reading it and kind of stumbled a little bit. I was at like middle school and just kind of like put it down. I was like, what is this about? I just didn't get it at the time. But I was at the bookstore not long after, and I saw, was in the philosophy section because I was like, philosophy sounds interesting. And I saw Ayn Rand, Philosophy Who Needs It. And, I'm like, what is this? And so I went and just kind of picked it up and started reading the intro, the actual Philosophy Who Needs It speech that she gave at West Point. Mm-hmm. And I was just completely blown away. I finished that first one, and my life was completely changed forever. Like, I mean, literally, it was like, oh my God, ideas are important. And from that, values are important. And she just spoke to a lot of things that I had kind of in my head, but also just, really just woke me up to like, oh my God, I want to take ideas seriously and study them and figure out what it is that I truly value and be able to justify all of those things. And so from there, I read that whole book. I read Anthem, which was awesome. And then I read, I think I read The Fountainhead next. And then I started getting really into the nonfiction. I read, Virtue of Selfishness. I read Voice of Reason. I read Return of the Primitive. I found basically everything I could online. I went into the forums and read those. I went to an event by Yaron Brook in San Diego. Did tons of stuff. And it was huge. To a number of things. It woke me up to the fact that my education was, happening way better on the outside of school than it was in school. The things that I was getting exposed to by her and people around her was so much more valuable than anything I was getting exposed to in class. And so I would spend my time, reading Ayn Rand and reading other interesting people that she introduced me to. And, from there, I guess, it just kind of ongoing process of, developing consistent values and developing goals for myself. And, I guess really the fundamental thing she gave me was, a lens through which to view the world, a methodology of thinking, a way of evaluating people and concrete scenarios in my life. And it's guided essentially everything I've done since. It guided my decision to leave college. It guided my, decision to, work with Praxis and everything else. In terms of, I guess what Praxis sort of, how it relates. It's you are in charge ultimately of your life. You are an individual, not a standardized automaton who needs to go through the exact same things that everybody else is doing. Those were two huge things. Even just reading The Fountainhead and watching the way Rourke acts was huge as well. You got to remember, he drops out of college. He leaves college because he's not finding it valuable and it's not operating in accordance with the standards he's set for himself. These are all things that sort of went into, or informed decisions in my life.